Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm back. It's Nancy Joy. Today's quote, it comes from the master Rumi, and what he says is, "The door is wide and open. Don't go back to sleep." And I found this particularly pertinent right now because we all know the wave has come. The shift is happening. Most of us can feel that awesome frequency, that heart-opening joy from time to time and more extended periods of time as we move along. But it's still challenging. It's still challenging to keep pushing the door open wider and wider because all around us, things are crazy, threatening, whatever, martial law, or this is going to happen, and guns and no guns, and the financial collapse, the sequestration, very, very fearful things all around, the killing in Afghanistan and the Middle East and what's going on. It's all not very pleasing. So Rumi's point is, those are the illusions. They're the illusions out there, and they're very intense right now because they're pushing us to wake up, to stay awake. And, my friend Shelle sent me this terrific article that was written by Hoagland and Wilcock, and you can look it up online, or you can go to my website and go on to my reflections, and I'll have it posted there at the bottom. But it's a very, scientific view of what's actually happened with our sun and is happening because of that to our solar system and, of course, our Earth and ourselves. Strange things are happening on inner and outer levels. Scientists in Russia are discovering that our solar system, the sun, and life itself is mutating into something new at an exponential rate. Some of us know this, but when we see it scientifically talked about and written, that's confirmation, and that sure helps us because it's been a little, sometimes when you're not in that great space, it's a little blinding. And so it's no surprise to us. Many of us have waited, lifetimes, but more recently, decades or more, for this time. And so we're very attuned to it, and we can certainly feel it. But as Ezekiel is quick to point out to me, we really have to work. We've talked about this in other reflections, but this is about opening the door wider and wider and keeping that door of higher consciousness and higher frequency open. So it's time to really pay attention to those places where you are in a habit or a rigidity of shutting the door. I find now with some of my friends and in my family, or sometimes when they are getting this feeling where something's threatening, they talk loud and fast, like to stop the onslaught of what you may say that may differ. Have you noticed that? And maybe and I do it sometimes, and you do it, because we're trying to change that old pattern. Now, it's not so hard mentally to think, okay, I'm in duality here. I'm so anti-abortion, or I'm so pro-gun, or I'm so whatever I am. And I feel it in my heart, and I'm passionate about it. So when something comes at me that negates my point of view, or tends to, take the air out of my sails, our ego is so embedded in having the response from outside ourselves that it emotionally uses our feelings to keep us responding in the old way. So you got to go dual fold here. You can't just think differently. You have to use your feelings differently. So when they're there and you're agitated, you're upset, and you want to burst back at someone, that is the perfect time to hold that door open wide and shift into the higher consciousness. And here's a great way I do it. On both of the palms of your hand, in the middle there, you can feel it. If you run your finger around, it feels so good on both hands. Those are your palm chakras, and they're directly connected to your heart. So, it's kind of metaphorical how we're out there handling the world and how connected it is to our heart. And so when this happens to me, and that feeling when you want to strike back, when you're mad, because of an opinion not even because someone's done something. You awaken those centers, and you cross your hands over your heart, palm to palm. And you breathe. Close your eyes and breathe into your heart 3 or 4 times. You will guarantee to bring you back into center, to get that connection, that good feeling, at least somewhat more clear, and take a breath, and then respond from that place. I feel, and how I view it now, is I'm actually putting my heart in the opening of the door there, so it can't slam shut any further. And as my heart expands, the door opens wider, and it stays open even wider. So use your emotions. Don't allow them to dictate, but use them to make the change you want to be in the world. Really, all these things happening outside yourself that you're so attached to, they are an illusion, and they're an illusion that's been created to wake you up, to keep you awake. The dark serves the light in actuality. That's the truth. It pushes you into your consciousness, but you have to be conscious enough to open up and create from that place. So, hold the door open wide as you can, as often as you can. When you love something passionately, you want it to be in your life, then live it in your life and live it from your heart. It's not what you say to others. It's not what you write down. It's not even what you post on Facebook. It's what you're living in your heart. So return there, palm to palm, cross your hands, consciously being in that space. So that's it for this week. I hope you find it as helpful as I have. Hey, check out the dolphins and the crop circles in Egypt. Let's get together, and I'll be back with you next week. Have a great week.